Hello children, you are welcome to this segment of the program The Classroom in Your Home. It is mathematics time, and that means it is time to have some fun. Hi, I'm Uncle Agbaje. Today in mathematics, we will be concluding our work on statistics by studying the mean. What does the mean mean? You will find out by the time we go into the lesson. We will begin with a review of the correction to the previous homework. You were asked to find the median of these numbers, and you will agree with me that the median is very easy to find. Recall that all you have to do is rearrange the numbers according to size, take off from each end, and you will find the number in the middle. And if there are two numbers in the middle, add them together and you divide by 2, you have your median. So here we see that the median is 70. The smallest number here is, there are how many numbers? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there will be 3 on this side and 3 on this side. And the number 4 number will be the median. So I'll just see. First, the lowest one is 40. That's number 1. Followed by 50. That's number 2. Followed by 60. That's number 3. And number 4 is 70. On the other side, you would have 80, 82, and 90. So 70 is the median. And if you proceed in the same way, you find that the median of this set of numbers is actually 29, because this set of number is 6. You have the lowest to be 22, followed by 28, and followed by 30, followed by 31, and followed by 32. So now in the middle, you have 28 and 30. By the time you add them together and divide by 2, you will get 29. Now all these years, by the time you do it the way that we have been doing it, you'll find that the median is 45 years. 45 years is not on the list, so which means that we have divided two numbers. Let's say which two numbers they are. The lowest age here is 15, followed by 20, followed by 40, followed by 50, followed by 60, and followed by 90. Now, the middle number will now be 15, 20, 40. That's on one side. Then you have 50, 60, 90 on the other side. So between 40 and 50, you have 45. That is your median, my friend. And for this lot, the median is 10 liters, following the same procedure. Now, I believe that you got all this right. Easy peasy, right? Then you deserve to be celebrated with a cheer. Now, moving on to that question, what does the mean mean? Before we go into that, we'll look at our objective for today, and it's simply to find the mean of data. By the end of this lesson, you should be able to find the mean of data set. Let's look at the definition of the mean. The mean is the result you get from sharing out different values equally. Just like Richard said. Richard was the first person that gave me the idea of what mean is. You add up everything and then you share them out equally and make life to be fair for everyone. The mean is also what you call the average. So sometimes when you're working and you're asked to find the average or you're asked to find the mean, they are both, at this level, they are both the same thing. Let's move on. To find the mean, like I have said, we will add up all the data that we have, because data is always going to be unequal. Remember when we were talking about Umar the other day, if Umar is 11, then somebody else will be 8, and somebody else will be 10. So data is always going to be unequal. But when you want to find the mean, you have to give a value for everybody that's equal. Okay, so you have to add up everything and then share it equally among them. And in mathematics, the process of sharing is to divide. So you have to divide by the count of the data. So you have this formula, although I don't like cramming formulas. I prefer to make pupils understand the problem. So this formula, you don't need to cram it. But what it says is that add up all the data, collect all the data together because they are not equal. Now divide them equally and make them equal. And you divide by the count of the data. Let's see some examples in practice. Razak has 9 pencils. I mean, that boy must be from a rich home. Momo has just 4, and Bukola has 5 pencils. Now, is life fair? I mean, come on. One person has 9 pencils, one person has 4, and another has 5. Life is not fair. So in order to balance things up, we have to find the mean. So if they decide to put their pencils together, the 3 children will now have 18 pencils all together. That is 9 pencils for Razak plus 4 pencils for Momo, that's 13 pencils, plus 5 pencils for Razak, that's 18 pencils. So now the 3 of them have 18 pencils equally. Let's make life fair by finding the mean. So we share this 18 between them equally. So we divide this 18 among the 3 of them equally, and each person will get 6 pencils each. The 6 pencils that each pupil gets is the mean, or the average of the 9, 4, and 5 pencils respectively. My friend, it is as simple as that. You want to find the mean, all the data are not going to be equal, so you have to bring them together and share it equally to make them equal. Okay, let's see another example in practice. Now, this is Bukola. This tells us one very useful application of mean or average that your teachers use to determine your position or your grades in class. Bukola wrote 8 tests, and in these 8 tests, sometimes you do some tests, you get 10 over 10 in some, you get 5 over 10 in some. Well, that's data, and you're not going to get equal marks in all the subjects. I mean, some subjects are easy for you and some are not so easy for you. So Bukola gets 6, 9, 8. 8, 5, 4, 6, and 2 in all the 8 tests. Now, if Bukola's teacher wants to know how well Bukola is performing, how good a student Bukola is, he will not say, oh, he scored 8. Oh, Bukola scored 8. Bukola is a good student. What of where Bukola scored 2? Or he doesn't say Bukola scored 2. Bukola is a poor student. What of where Bukola scored 8? So what your teachers normally do is that they now take all your scores in all your subjects and find the average. And this average tells them how good a student you are and how well you are performing. So for all the online tests that you do, sometimes Uncle Popo, Auntie Fumi, and I will now look at all your performances and take the average to know how well you are doing. So now, let us help Bukola's teacher to calculate Bukola's average score so that we can see how good a student Bukola really is, bearing in mind that the pass mark out of 10 is 5. Let's go and say, so we add up Bukola's scores, 6 plus 9, so you bring all the scores together, 6 plus 9 plus 8 plus 8 plus 5 plus 4 plus 6 plus 2, everything gives us 48. So that's the total score. But we now need to keep in mind that Bukola has done how many tests? 8 tests. So we now share this total mark equally among the tests. And that means we will divide 48 by 8 tests. So we have 48 marks. Divide it into 8 for each of the tests. What do you get? You get 6 marks. So Bukola is still performing averagely. So when you are doing your tests in your school, remember that all the places where you get low marks, they are going to factor into your average. So you want to do well. Some of my students will say, I did not do maths well, I did not do English well, but I passed my verbal and quantitative, I got 10-10. But all the others, they are not doing well. So when we take the average, they are not doing well. That's why some people will say, oh, but I passed this one now, and they said I should repeat the class. Well, it's because your average did not meet up to the required average. So my friend, you need to work hard on all your subjects. If some are difficult, at least try to get half of the mark, maybe 5 over 10 or 6 over 10. So that's Bukola's average score. I believe you can do better than that. Now, I want you to do this. The number of pulse rates per minute of a hospital patient is checked. You know the pulse? When you go to the hospital, the doctor will check your pulse by putting their fingers very close to your neck or on your wrist to check your pulse rate, how fast your blood is pumping. Now, The hospital took the pulse rate of a patient and checked the 78 per minute, 89 per minute, 85 per minute, 80 per minute, 70 per minute, 82. Now, all these pulse rates are not equal. They're fluctuating, high, low, high, low. Let's have an average pulse rate so that the doctors can know exactly the medical condition of this patient. I want you to help the doctor so you can see how mathematics is applicable everywhere. You are becoming a doctor gradually. You have 1 minute. Find the average pulse rate. Begin. Alrighty then, eyes on me. I believe you've gotten the average pulse rate, but let's just show you how it's supposed to be done. So all these pulse rates are not equal. These are the pulse rates. Then we have to match them together and share them equally. So let's go. The total pulse rate is adding everything: 78 plus 89 plus 85 plus 80 plus 76 plus 82 plus 84, and everything gives us 574. This is the total pulse rate. But how many times were the tests taken? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So the count of pulse rates is 7. So now all you have to do is just divide this 574 equally into 7 places, and you will get the average pulse rate. 7 goes in 57 8 times. Remember 1. 7 goes in 14 2 times. You get 82. I believe that's what you got. If you did, then I'm going to celebrate you with a cheer. Now let's move on to another variant of the problem. Now I believe you will find it easy to find means or averages, henceforth. But now there is another form in which the problem can come. That is when you are given the average. You already know the average, the equal value for everybody, and you are told to find a missing data. Is very, very possible. Then you have to bear in mind that the average is equal for every item of data or for everybody, depending on what you're working on. The average is that value that is equal for everybody, which means that if you add the average for each and everybody, or for each and every test, or for each and every item of data, if you add all the averages for them, you will get the total. You must keep that in mind. And that means that if you know the average, the mean, just count the number of items you're working with and multiply the average by that. You will get the total. If it is 8 tests and you know the average score, then 8 for that average score in 8 places will give you the total. That's exactly what I'm saying. Let's see an example of this in practice. The average of 463x and 9 is 6. The average is 6. We know the average, and that average is the value that is equal for everybody. Now find the value of x. We don't know this x, it's a missing data, but we know the average. So let's see how this one is going to be solved. Now the numbers are 463x and 9. The average is 6. But how many items are there? There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. When we added everything and we found the average, it is 6. So that means it will be 6 for this guy, 6 for this one, 6 for this one, 6 for this one, and 6 for this one. That is 6 in 5 places. And 6 in 5 places gives us 30. That is the total. I'll take that again. The average is equal for each of these 5 items. That is 6 is the average. And so 6, 6, 6, 6 in 5 places, you will get 30. So you know the average, now you know the total. Now let's see how we're going to find that missing data. Now the 5 items of data are 4, 6, 3, 9, and X. If we had these items of data together, we will still get the total. This is what I'm saying. We had 4 plus 6 plus 3 plus 9 plus X. It should give us the total that we got before. Remember that total is 30. So all we have to do now is solve this particular equation using our knowledge of open sentences. So when we add all this together, we get 22. We'll bring down X and we'll bring down 30. Now we'll collect all numbers to one side. 22, remember, has a sign of plus. When it crosses the line, the bridge, it becomes minus. 30 comes down. This 22 has become minus 22 here. X will come down. Nothing is here again. So now X is 30 minus 22 and X is 8. We have found our missing data. So summarily, when you know an item of data, or when you know the average and you need to find an item of data, just remember that the average is equal for each item of data. Multiply it by the count and you get the total. Then add up all your data, including the one you don't know, and equate them together. Solve, my friend, and you will find your missing data. Now, that is your final answer right there. It's time for some homework, something for you to practice on your own. Copy this and do them during your leisure, and I will be on hand in the next lesson, God willing, to put you through the assignment. I will now hand you over to Uncle Popo for the general studies lesson. Till I come your way next time, remain wonderful mathematicians.